Travis going good, so. I've been inspired to do Jonah as it ties into Daniel 9. So, in a number of places is the scripture passage of signs shall follow them that believe. Belief must come first. Matthew chapter 12. Verse 33 is where we start. Either make a tree good and his fruit good, or else make the tree corrupt and his fruit corrupt. For the tree is known by his fruit. That's a repetition of Matthew chapter 7, verse 15. You shall know a false prophet by his fruits. Wolves in sheep's clothing. O generation of vipers, how can ye, being evil, speak good things? For out of the abundance of the heart the mouth speaketh. A good man out of the good treasure of his heart bringeth forth good things. An evil man out of the evil treasure bringeth forth evil things. Did you catch what was missing? But I say unto you, that every idle word that men shall speak, they shall give an account thereof in the day of judgment. For by thy words thou shalt be justified, and by thy words thou shalt be condemned. Because words are the seed, and the results of the words are the fruit, exposing either good or evil. Okay, so 38. Then certain of the scribes and of the Pharisees answered, saying, Master, we would see a sign from thee. They don't believe, and they're demanding a sign first. But he answered and said unto them, An evil and adulterous generation seeketh after a sign. I hope you don't misinterpret adultery. And there shall no sign be given to it, but the sign of the prophet Jonah. Jonas for the Greek, Jonah, but the needs to be dropped because it's biblical Hebrew, not the original text. And so John is the same as John the Baptist, and John is dove, and John is also the dove for the Noah's Ark. All ties together. Has to do with the latter days. For as John, in Paleo Hebrew, it's the King Yah, by the way. The Yod is the word for Yah, the Hebrew God. The N is a suffix determinative, person, king, place, kingdom. King Yah. So that's the Christ. Was 3 days and 3 nights in the whale's belly. We're jumping the gun on this one because this is not until Sunday. In the whale's belly. So shall the Son of Man be 3 days and 3 nights in the heart of the earth. The men of Nineveh shall rise in judgment with this generation, and shall condemn it, because they repented at the preaching of John. And behold, a greater than John is here. So, John is Messiah ben Joseph, who is to prepare the way for Messiah ben David. Thus, Yah the King, King Yah. Both are Yah the King, King Yah, the Jewish Christ. Both Joseph Smith and the future Mormon, whom you will know by his fruits of seer, prophet, revelator, and translator of Paleo-Hebrew and Egyptian, and occasionally a little Greek tossed in for fun. Run and hide at your own risks. Don't believe at your own risk. There's danger coming. I warned you. Did I not warn you, those who have been following me, about paying attention to the stock market? We now broke a record today, as this hasn't happened since 1978. A drop 9 days in a row. They're selling off the stocks in preparation for something coming up. But pay attention, keep watching. On the 20th of this month, in 3 more days, is the deadline for the budget for next year. So, pay attention. Normally, Trump is going to take power. And so, the only reason to not have the budget for next year and cause a federal shutdown would be to hurt Biden even further than they've already hurt him. Trump is already intending on cleaning house and the feds anyway. So why not purge it now? Pay attention, 3 more days. There's going to be some layoffs for Christmas. I'm getting laid off for Christmas. The wife and the kids are mad. I'm getting laid off for Christmas, 'cause MAGA and Trump are bad. Pay attention though, it may not happen, maybe they'll do it. Maybe they'll show mercy for Christmas. But I found yet another confirmation of the war on Christmas. On Christmas. And so, George Albert Smith, thanks to Sister Jessica, is confirmed of a Christmas nuke. Or at least one, if not more. And so the federal government is expected to be destroyed. And so this would help perpetuate it. Remove all federal officers from their job for Christmas. And then nuke Washington. And 3 Nephi chapter 7 comes to pass. And so Mormons use the wrong interpretation on the Book of Mormon, thinking it's Christian and therefore literal history and therefore wrong. Or as Joseph Smith called it in verse 19 of the first vision, all wrong, abominable, and corrupt. You still hanging around? You got punked, Mormons. They deceived you into not producing the fruits of the word of the Book of Mormon and of Joseph Smith. They gave you their own words to replace them with and told you not to produce the fruit. Just have a spiritual witness feeling and you're good to go. Oops. And so, pay attention. Things are going to happen. Revelation 12, verse 1 in the Joseph Smith translation, sign in the heaven and the likeness of things on the earth. So we should have had that up on the screen here if only. Microsoft is being stupid with their new upgrade, not wanting to cooperate. And again, all day, dear God. they're supposed to have this awesomely smart system that remembers where I left off, and they can't do it. Trashing my system. It's the end of the world, all right. On the 22nd, Sunday, 128 BCE, this is literal history. The Maccabees destroyed the Danite temple on Mount Ephraim. And so the sign in the heavens on that day is the Ursid meteors are at their peak at the belly of Draco the dragon. He'll make another guest star appearance on the 2nd of January for the anniversary of the big event that started off the latter days of the death of President Thomas S. Monson. Again, if you're using Christian interpretation, turning everything into literal history, you can't see it. You gotta use the Jews. You know, the authors. Their religion, their Christ. So, I would love to discuss game strategy with you, or war strategy, same thing. But I don't know if there's many people out there who can handle that kind of discussion. I keep hoping, in order for everything to go smoothly, because the fall has to happen of the great and abominable church. Fall of America happened. The sign in the heavens on the 21st of August 2017 fulfilled. We're doomed. We're all going to die unless we get to Zion. But that's the religion part. And so the next is the transfer of authority. Yep, already happened with Trump shaking the hand of Biden in the Oval Office, though the official one is January 20th, and we're told that's not going to happen. Because the federal government is going to be utterly destroyed. The religion is from, as Joseph Fielding Smith Sr. said in The Way to Perfection, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, led by Russell Marion, baby name meaning. Give you a hint, it's in Isaiah and plagiarized in the Book of Mormon, errors and all. You gotta know your Hebrew. You gotta know your baby name meanings. You gotta know the learning of the Jews, the language of the Egyptians. Or you will be deceived and caught unawares, and he will come on the 23rd of September 2017, just as John in Revelation says he would, and you miss him, and then the latter days happen, the last year of the latter days happens, and you miss him, you still don't see him, even though you saw the big sign of him, as all around the world did on that day, and you miss it. 8 April 2024. The biggest news coverage around the whole world ever. Bigger than Jesus. Bigger than the Beatles. Bigger than Homer Simpson's barbershop quartet, or whatever they were, crooners. Hilarious. You miss things when you get the wrong interpretation. And nobody's watching that video from this morning. Dear God, guys. You don't run the test. And so you don't understand who I am. And you go, well, you're not Jesus, so you're false. I just read to you from Matthew on this. By their fruits you shall know them. Is that too hard? Are you too ashamed? Are you too humiliated and too proud to admit you've been conned by the church? And you're still going to go to church tomorrow, and you're still going to pay your tithing from your paycheck before Christmas, before you get laid off? Dear God, you're compounding the problems. Just admit you were wrong and humble yourself to learn, because we're kind of running out of time. And you won't do it, will you? You just go and run and hide. You're too ashamed. You don't want to believe. And if you keep reinforcing your faith bubble, it's going to be a bigger faith crisis. Ignore me at your own risk. So, Mormons. Let's go to Noah. We'll go to Dan first. Dan 2, not Dan 9. Because there's some overlapping. Where are you, Dan? There you are. Chapter 2, Judge of God. Anybody who tells you my Judge of God is using the biblical Hebrew alteration, and that's wrong. They were influenced by Roman Emperor Constantine's First Creed of Christianity, and they botched the biblical Hebrew text. Go back to the original and redo it. Choose one linguistic pattern rather than multitudinal of multi-personality disorders to create the translation that's similar to the Septuagint and Latin Vulgate, but has nothing to do with the original Qumran community documents. You should have trusted Joseph. King Follett sermon. He knew what he was talking about. Elohim is supposed to be plural all the way through, and it ruins the Bible. The biblical Hebrew text, that is. And so yes, the Septuagint is wrong, Latin Vulgate is wrong, Daniel is wrong, which is why I was telling you earlier in the video you'll never listen to. Daniel 9 is botched, talking about the abomination of desolation, but nonetheless. We need verse 32. So, Nebuchadnezzar has a dream, and in this dream he sees a statue, an idol god. There's the face of Jesus. And he can't find anybody who can interpret it. Daniel can. He's a seer. No duh. And so Daniel interprets it. Babylon conquered the Jews. The Jews need their kingdom back. And so the king is being shown in prophecy, in a dream, in revelation, of which he has no seership abilities to do it. Thus Daniel, he's the false Christ, holding the Jews, aka Mormons, in bondage, having title only, denying the powers thereof. And so Daniel, the true Christ, explains to him, you murdered Joseph Smith and Hiram, you have no authority, so through your organization will come Messiah ben David, a Mormon, who will resurrect Joseph Smith's religion and set in order the temple as the one mighty and strong in Zion after the Exodus, after the transfer of authority and the fall. The final events of the latter days to get to Zion. Everything else has been fulfilled. If you think there's other stuff like the European rivers turning their course, or Enoch City coming from outer space, you're wrong. Wrong interpretation. Cut it out. Do not use Christianity with literal history or little history interpretation. Prophecy and Revelation, it's all talking about the same stuff. The latter days, and they give you the days and the hours of the latter days. 2017, 2024. Every prophecy of the Jews fits within that, and some are dualistic so that it would be about his actual birth in 1970 with the sign in the east pointing the way to him, etc., etc., etc. And him as a kid, and him as getting baptized, him getting his patriarchal blessing, priesthood as a priest, and getting the endowment with the new name Nephi, not Moroni, etc., etc., etc. Because he's the one, sign in the heavens, likeness of things on the earth. Prophecy, Revelation, Revelation chapter 12, verse 1, Joseph Smith translation. Shouldn't have to keep summarizing these in every single video. You're supposed to follow me. You're not supposed to be brand new, but I blame YouTube for this because it's a Mormon who's trying to protect the church so that you get hurt. Blame the Mormon who's doing it to you. Not me, I'm doing the videos. I've got over 8.2K. And YouTube, finally, oh my God, they want to claim innocent. It's not us. But the one with the Mormons and Witness Protection, whatever the title that was, with the one female Witness Protection lady, the video clip from conference from the church's website was flagged as a copyright by a Spanish organization, company, person on YouTube. They were claiming the copyright for that. And so that hurt me, because YouTube's algorithms, whenever there's any kind of issue, it's treated as a false positive, and so it then rigs the algorithms to punish me by keeping people from watching my videos. And so that plays a big part in that. And so today, finally, the channel said, oh, you linked to the actual church site that owns the copyright? Dear God. So the last time, this was years ago, it was the same thing, and they didn't fix it on YouTube. The channel didn't fix it. And so if I were to do it again, sure enough, it'll be flagged as the copyright violation. YouTube will say, that's the way it came up. There's nothing we can do. You're in charge of rigging the algorithms. There is something you can do. Fix it. And they won't. But nonetheless, yeah, they let me go. And so the punishment's still going to be affixed for the next several months. I've had to deal with this abuse the whole time, ever since July 2017's video. And if you're not new to YouTube and you have no clue how to figure out which video I'm talking about, dear God. Do you never go to a person's channel to follow them? You know, when people do their videos and say, please like and subscribe, and ring the bell. Do you not do that? You just let YouTube tell you what to watch. And oh, yay, I won the lottery this time, and my one video finally got shown to you. And you clicked on it, and then you're upset with it. You need to be in control of your own life. What you watch, not what others want you to watch. That's how you get conned. And so, from Heroes, they did have a decent enough quote. Will you choose your own path, or will you have it chosen for you? I gave up on heroes. I just got so disgusted when it got to the point where hero, I gave up on him. You have to watch the screen, the subcaptions, because he's speaking Japanese. And I think it's Japanese, not Chinese. Yeah, it's Japanese. Yeah. And I got so frustrated with him, of his failure after failure, making the problems worse. And then to have his dad go, "I am so proud of you, son. You've become a hero, and family legacy." And I went, "What? You've been following him, and you think he's doing great? Are you kidding me?" And so finally, in season 3, after the humiliation of the wrong solar eclipse that never happened, they just made up a solar eclipse over the United States of America. Oh my hell. It's just hero goes back in time, cons his mother out of the catalyst that she possesses, and he promises his mom with tears as she then dies after giving up the catalyst. He now is the possessor of the catalyst, the security guard for it, promising his mother, and his mother having hope and belief that he's gonna do it. And he goes back to the original time, and immediately it was stolen from him, and he loses his powers. Oh my God. I quit. That's it. You blew it. It's just, oh my hell. It was bad enough as a 10-year-old boy. Oh dear God. So anyway, the statue dream. Nebuchadnezzar is the bad guy who kidnapped the Jews, raped the women to turn them Babylonian. And it's the Babylonian version of the abomination of desolation that the Greeks are known for, in which they destroy the temple ritual, or the temple altar, rebuild the Greek temple 10 days later, and begin offering the Greek sacrifices. And so even though pigs are acceptable because of the hooves, because the Greeks did that on the Greek temple, or Greek altar in the Jerusalem temple that they stole, therefore the Jews in the Qumran community says no more pig sacrifices in remembrance of the Greeks that took it over. And the Greeks were the ones, instead of raping women, people could pay to have sex with women in the temple. Prostitution, rather than rape of the Babylonians. And so under the Romans, you have men that now get prostituted also, along with women. And so women who pay the church tithing so that they can be sealed together for all eternity are prostituting their husbands in the Roman practice. Whereas the church wants it to be the Greek practice. Make the Church of Jesus Christ Greek again. Stay at home, women. Don't get a career. Men are not to be prostituted, only women. And you don't understand how you're in bondage, huh? You're running away and hiding. No, church is true. No, it's not. Get over it. Dear God. And so, the layers are the different kingdoms. And this was written during the Qumran community. And so, the last one of the iron feet mingled with clay had not yet happened yet. That is an actual prophecy. because the others have already happened. Babylon is the head. Where do we, 32? Yeah, the image head was of fine gold. That's Babylon. The breast and the arms of silver is Persia. The belly of the beast, Jonah and the whale, and the belly of the whale, fish. With the thighs are of brass, for Greek, the abomination of desolation. Danite temple destroyed on Mount Ephraim. Abomination of desolation. See the patterns? See the parallels? And then the legs of iron, Rome. And then the feet, iron, of Rome, mixed with clay. Roman Emperor Constantine and the creation of Christianity. All wrong, abominable, and corrupt. And so from the destruction of Christianity will come the restoration of the Jewish religion. Joseph Smith Jr. as Messiah ben Joseph to set it up in the latter days to prepare Mormons who believed in the Jewish religion for the coming of Messiah ben David from the great and abominable church of Brigham Young. All wrong, abominable, and corrupt. And Mormons who leave the church still don't get it. You believe the lies. And you got offended with the lies, blaming Joseph. Wrong. Okay? And so that is important to understand. This is all about restoring the Jewish religion, and thus it's not Christianity with Jesus. Real simple to understand when you use the learning of the Jews on your scriptures. Do away with all things Jesus. So now let's go to Jonah, because Daniel is majorly botched. So it's chapter 1, verse 17 to 2 that corresponds. Son of Amittai, which is an interesting, because you got to know Hebrew, Paleo-Hebrew specifically, the form of the script, to understand how awesome this is to see King Noah and then Amit, death is Mot. And so the A at the beginning is the first letter of the alphabet, which is the death signs of the latter days, the 3 days of darkness. That's the revelation, time, astronomy. Revelation chapter 1, chapter 12, verse 1 in the Joseph Smith translation. Sign in the heaven, revelation, time of things on the earth. Prophecy, future predictions. And so this is just awesome. And so yeah, it does need some tweaking on translation, but for this basic overview for you, it's sufficient. And there's the Tarshish ships, the pleasant pictures of porn. Anybody been here long enough to remember that video? And so yeah, he's commanded to go preach to Sodom and Gomorrah, Nineveh, and tell them to repent or they're going to be destroyed. And he says, screw them, they're not going to believe. They keep sending me hate comments, death threats, thumbs down on all my videos. If they even come. Most of them run away and hide. So I'm out of here, I quit. And so he takes off, And he gets the shipwreck, falls into the sea, and gets swallowed up by a whale or a big fish. They had big fish back in those days, if this were literal history, which it's not. Dagon, the Mesopotamian deity, is a half man, half fish god. And I don't know, there's only one of you, I think, that have been here long enough to remember me doing the Dagon videos of Nelson. Because that person sent me some pictures to accompany it. Ah, the good old days. So, yeah, I'm very curious with game strategy, because I got a sign today, following my belief, not for my belief. So I'm very curious, which is why we're doing it today, because we may not be able to do it when the time gets closer. I'm hoping. But yeah, I'm very well aware of what's transpiring now. It's potentially sprouts. I've been begging for sprouts. We may be starting to get some, but it could just be weeds. Could just be weeds. Just weeds. Go back to bed. Go back to bed. All right. Let's see. The men feared the Lord, offered a sacrifice unto the Lord, and made vows. Now the Lord had prepared a great fish to swallow up Jonah. And Jonah was in the belly of the fish 3 days and 3 nights. What is interesting is that on the 20s, I should have left the picture up. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. And I'm going to have to readjust it. Oh my God. They're retaliating against me. That's what it is. We're cyber terrorizing you, Travis. Just accept it. Confess the church is true. No. And so the Ursids in the belly of Draco are on the 22nd. 3 days later is the 25th, which from that evening at 6 p.m. is the 26th, which in Kislev is 25th. And that's when Hanukkah begins, setting in order the temple. And that's also when the abomination of desolation took place. The abomination of desolation. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints says that is going to be nuclear. The war on Christmas. And so that's what's very scary, is that if Mormons, this has to do with game strategy, you don't care. People don't know who I am. And so if the fall happens by death, or even being locked up by the feds, but the transfer does not come to me, then Mormons are not going to go on an exodus. They're not going to follow me. They don't know who I am. They don't recognize my authority. They aren't going to judge me by my fruits. They aren't going to know that I have the keys of Moses. And so Mormons will not be saved, because they have nobody to lead them. And there will be a bunch of Mormons popping up saying, I'm your leader, follow me, pay me tithing. That's your first clue they're not real. They're frauds and scam artists, but that's what the church set you up for. And you're going to fall for it. You're going to follow anybody who you believe is spiritually witnessed true, rather than judging them by their fruits. And so the way in order for you to know it's me, to get you safe to Zion, is that the fall happens, the whole world will know about it. The transfer is publicly made to me, so that when I put out the 133 section of the Doctrine and Covenants call out to come to Zion, you then will be given the choice. You didn't judge me by my fruit yet, but you're aware that the government handed it over to me. So you're either going to be upset with me that I stole the church, and you're going to be stubborn and stay behind as Lot's wife. Or you're going to say, I guess I got laid off from my federal job anyways, so might as well. It may not happen. They may let it go. But that's what Trump's plan is to gut the federal government. What a better way to gut the federal government before Trump takes office than to have a government shutdown. It would be perfect for Trump, what he's planning. And so then the guys that get put into the leadership positions of the federal agencies can then hire their goons into the position for what they want. Makes sense to me. Nobody else is talking about it. Just me, because I'm aware of what's going on. Nobody else is. But 3 more days. 3 more days. Just like Jonah and the whale. And so, yes, that's the only way I can see it happening. But there's time that needs to be taking place. The fall of the church, then the transfer, so that everybody knows worldwide. So that on Sunday, bishops get the call, so that the bishops can find out who wants to come to Zion. And then the book of the law will be compiled by the bishops, sent to me, so that when the bishop gets to Zion, we compare the books of law to make sure that their names are found in the book of the law to come to Zion. If it would be up to me, it would be done perfectly. Okay? But I need to set up Zion first so that people can have places to set up camp. Because Zion's not built, we got to build it. And so that transfer is essential to help build it. But that's where the other gameplay part comes in. If the nuke is nationwide, not just DC and Utah, because if Utah is going to be involved, then it seems like other parts in the nation will also be involved. And thus the economy will instantly tank. And we'll have martial law in the streets, but yet we need to prepare to attack an enemy that may invade soon thereafter. And all hell's going to break loose as Trump's going to say, I was elected president, I'm president now. And Harris and Democrats are going to say, no, Harris, according to the Constitution, is supposed to be the president until January 20th. Screw the Constitution. I can do whatever I want. It says so. And so then MAGA states and Democrat states split up, national divorce during a time of war, because Congress won't declare war. And it's just going to be chaos. because because DC is destroyed, and so Democrats don't want to assemble, and the MAGAs will assemble at Mar-a-Lago, and it'll just be utter chaos. That's the one thing that would destroy America and fulfill prophecy at the same time, but not up to me. Not up to me. And so, if we can get to Zion before it happens, then the rest of the world will descend into utter chaos and will be forgotten about. And so nobody will bother us in Zion. And so the thing, though, is that those from foreign lands around the world need to be gathered to Zion. And that's where my plan would work perfectly, because the government, being involved with the fall and the transfer, would grant us the land to live in and can contact the foreign governments to help us get our people to Zion who want to come when the call goes out to all the bishops around the world. Otherwise, if it's a nuclear strike in America, foreign people aren't going to know about me. Nobody's going to know about me. They won't know where to go. The news just says there's nuclear bombs all over America. We're all doomed. The rise of the Terminator machines and of AI. All chaos, and all is lost. Mormons will end up staying where they are in their foreign lands until Putin comes and nukes them. Isn't that special? So, lots of things to be concerned about here. And so, yeah, this stuff, this is quick stuff. I wanted to talk about the other stuff. Now the Lord had prepared a great fish to swallow up Noah, and Noah was in the belly of the fish 3 days and 3 nights. That's the 3 solar eclipses over the United States of America, but it's also interesting that there are 3 days from the time of the sign in the heavens of the belly of the beast to the abomination of desolation, which is the day of abomination of desolation. Which Joseph Smith says, "They that come shall burn you," which means it's not Jesus. It's not Jesus' second coming. But that's what Nelson has been threatening you with. And so, yes, I did find, when I posted his Jerusalem clip, he says, "in a coming day," just like he did for October conference. And so when you put them in chronological order, it seems it was when Ainsley Earhart told Geraldo Rivera, "Why can't Trump just bomb Syria to avoid the Comey book?" And then Trump bombed Syria that night. Oh my God. And so that's when Nelson was out on his Middle East tour. And so I think that was 2019, wasn't it? '23? No, 2018, Global Ministry Tour. Yep. Okay, so yes, that is the pattern. Nelson has a pattern. In April 2000, they did it right after conference. Interesting, yeah, because Holland and Nelson, yeah. So April conference, that's when he becomes president, and his first act of unrighteous dominion also happened at conference, but also his tour to Jerusalem, where he says that Jesus is going to rule over the Jews. Did you listen to that? No, you didn't watch it. Oh, great. He is condescending and has that supremacist attitude that Jerusalem was only made popular when Jesus was born. It was never popular before. Nobody'd heard of it. Just, oh my God. Guy, just so evil. And Oakes, oh, if only we could go on for years and have Oakes as the president. Oh, the clips galore for him. It's not the Lord's will that women should have priesthood and priesthood office. Young women are porn. All images are porn. We need to hack people and spy on them. Commit terrorism to protect them. Bind yourself to Jesus. Dear God, what an evil man. And you never test him. He just said, thank thee, O God, for a false prophet. We're all doomed. So then Jonah prayed unto the Lord his God out of the fish's belly, and said, I cried by reason of mine affliction unto the Lord, and he heard me out of the belly of hell. Dragon, hell, space, darkness of space, nighttime is considered hell for the Egyptians. The underworld, where the souls wait to be resurrected. And so with the rising of the sun is resurrection, but it's just merely the new king being born. Just like it is for the Jews. Not a zombie apocalypse of Christians. And I cast out of my sight, so there's blindness involved, which is solar eclipses. Symbolism going on there with the eyes of Horus, the Christ of the Egyptians. Yet I will look again toward thy holy temple. And so, yes, the restoration, setting in order the temple. But he's talking about Nineveh. Yeah, gotta watch out for these Jews. They're very sneaky. The waters compass me about. And so, yes, Noah, as in the days of Noah, so shall it be in the latter days. The top of the mountains, on Mount Ephraim, not Ararat, because we're looking at the house of Israel's interpretation, not the Jews, or the Christians of the Jews. I went down to the bottoms of the mountains, and so the top of the mountains is there. Utah, starting of his ministry. Earth with her bars was about me forever, and has brought me up life from corruption of the great and abominable church. So fainted, observing the vanities, sacrifice of thanksgiving last month. I will pay that I have vowed. Salvation is of Yahweh, Yeshua. The Lord spake unto the fish, and it vomited out Jonah upon dry land. That's the creation story. That's Moses parting the waters and walking through on dry land to the promised land. Jesus also offering sacrifices on Mount Shechem, Mount Ephraim, and all that stuff that I've been going over with you all this month. Because this is it. It's the final countdown. And so Jonah prophesies of the downfall of Nineveh, Sodom and Gomorrah, Great Salt Lake, etc., etc. Fall of the great and abominable church. The people repent and the city is saved. But Oaks made a promise that your righteousness will not save Utah. It's gonna happen. Don't think your righteousness will save the city. And so, no, it won't. Salt Lake City is not gonna repent. Nelson's not gonna repent. Oaks definitely isn't gonna repent. They're never gonna confess that they're lying to you and stealing your money and paying the Judas price to have you murdered so that they can get their kingdom back. No, this is all, they won't do it. They know who I am. That's why they're trying to murder me, and they're failing miserably, and other people's lives are getting ruined, right, Todd? And yet, they will never confess. They will never repent. They will never say they're sorry. They will never make restitution. And to me, they can never make restitution sufficient to even come close to the restitution that they owe me. And they just get mad, as Nelson, responding to my video last Friday, had YouTube shut down my viewing of YouTube again. That was his response. Bleep you, Travis. I will not let Mormons go. And you still follow him, huh? The Mormon employee is still on Nelson's side, huh? And so, yeah, this is a very dangerous time for all of you. And you're not paying attention. So let's go to Daniel 9. You do know the 3 days of darkness, right? Are you that new that you don't know the 3 days of darkness and how they form the first and last letters of the Paleo-Hebrew alphabet? 21st of August 2017. 23rd or 14th October 2023 over Utah. Goes down into Texas, where 8 April 2024 creates the two crosses for Mormons to follow Travis to X marks the spot of Zion. And even the ancient Egyptians knew, because that's where the Jews got it from. The Eye of Horus, the first letter, A. Okay, and so we're looking for Dan. Let's do 10 and then go back, because it's this final thing here, but there's some other stuff. 24 is divided in Blue Letter Bible as the 70 weeks time thing, but there's other times given here. Shall be 7 weeks, and then 62 weeks, and 62 weeks, and 1 week. In the midst of the week, you shall cause a sacrifice and the oblation to cease. That's Hanukkah, the 5th dark day, which overspreading of the abomination of desolation, which is Hanukkah is about restoring the temple, setting it in order from the abomination of the desolation of the Greeks. And so, yeah, this incorrectly translated. So let's just briefly go over 26 and 27, because Matthew says in 24, then shall the abomination that maketh desolate, as spoken of by Daniel the prophet. And so, yeah, it's the fall of the great and abominable church and the setting in order of the temple. But Christians turned it into nuclear bombs of Jesus' second coming. And so it's just going to coincidentally coincide as Hanukkah starts on Christmas at 6 p.m. in the evening. And then anniversary of Monson dying on the 2nd of January with the quadranted meteor showers. the tail of the dragon, Revelation chapter 12, verse 4, which the Joseph Smith translation moves verse 5 to verse 3 to be part of the first sign on the 23rd of September 2017, and verse 3 gets merged into verse 4. And that's the last year, this year. Because in 2017, number 3, verse 3, was the 17th of December, 2017, the 5th dark day of Hanukkah. Verse 4 was Nelson's death day at 10:01 p.m. Mars is at the top of the scales of judgment as Nelson took over as a Danite judgment. These Jews know what they were talking about, and Mormons just don't believe. And so that's what you need to understand from here. It's weird because it says after 62 weeks shall Messiah be cut off. No. The Messiah fell, all is lost, abomination of desolation, but not for himself and the people of the prince. The prince is the Messiah, and just, oh my God, I don't even think it's prince. It's a different word, I think, because Sar is prince, as in Israel. Right, Nelson? That shall come and destroy the city and the sanctuary. That's the abomination of desolation of the Greeks that is being talked about there. The sanctuary is the Holy of Holies that had the altar before the statue of deity in the Holy of Holies, and thus the Ark of the Covenant. But that's, you need to know the Egyptians. And the end thereof shall be a flood, and unto the end of the war desolations are determined. And he shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week, and in the midst of the week he shall cause the sacrifice and the oblation to cease. I guess if you want to stick to the English mistranslation and put Joseph Smith being murdered and Brigham Young starting the abomination of desolations, that works. And then the restoration, setting in order of the temple for the latter days. But I'd have to explain Paleo-Hebrew translation for you and then go over it. And we're already over an hour. And it's already past 5. So we're going to wind it down. And that's getting near done. So... And in the midst of the week he shall cause the sacrifice and the oblation to cease. See, again, on the 5th dark day of Hanukkah. And the overspreading of abominations, he shall make it desolate, even until the consummation, and determined that shall be poured out upon the desolate. So it's not intending to be a nuclear Holocaust war, but that's Christians. Joseph Smith warns you, they that come shall burn you. Christians are going to force their interpretation. For the Jews, it's about Brigham Young and the Great and Abominable Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints that does these abominations by destroying the temple that Joseph set up, and it needs to be set back in order. So there's a difference. But the two are being played together here. And so for the government part that's getting fulfilled, yeah, they're purposely causing all of that. But the religious side, no, I am not causing any of it. This is the difference. Prophecy and revelation says it's going to happen. I'm doing all I can when inspired, and like I said today, I'm finally getting what could be sprouts, most likely weeds. We'll see. But as I'm going over in my brain the game theory, the war strategy, because I've got the Exodus and the blueprints for Zion all set, ready to go. We just got to get there. The fall and the transfer has to take place, and it has to be public so that all Mormons know of it. And that's out of my control. There's nothing I can do about that. And that's what concerns me as the time gets nearer. But, like I said, if it is a sign following my belief, we'll see. I'm not happy about it because Sunday only gives us 3 days to get to Zion. So things are going to have to go speedy quick, and if people are going to hesitate, he that believeth shall not make haste. Come up to the land of Zion, not in haste. Come together to the land of Zion, not in haste. And hasten to translate all this other say. Yeah, we're not supposed to do it in haste. So it's going to piss me off, because if it's in haste, nobody's going to go to the right place. Nobody's going to know it's me. Nobody's going to know where to go. Nobody believes because they use Christian interpretation and never realize that all the prophecies and revelations and visions of the Jews and Joseph Smith and the Book of Mormon have all happened. Mormons don't see it, and they still don't believe. They're still waiting for Jesus. They're going to get him on Christmas. The nuclear power of Jesus. So, 22nd. 3 days, and you should be able to get it to Zion in 3 days if you're from the West Coast, because it's going to take us 2 days to get to Zion from Utah. And so those who come from other places in the United States, but again, like I said, it's going to take time. The fall has to happen so that everybody around the world knows it. Then the transfer has to happen, and it has to be made to me. Now, the dream I had on 9/11, and I need to fix that picture and not have the 2 sockets. I need to put this 15th that we just had yesterday on the screen, or on that picture. But yeah, Irene is transferring authority to me, just as the previous dreams that I had were with the transfer of authority. Monson refusing to take the boots, and I'm in a tent, and then Hinckley, the big one that started it off, with 77 and 88 room numbers, with the 77 as his key card. And so 77s and 88s are all through this, and as I was game strategizing, I realized another 7 and 8 that was involved. But those who don't believe, that means nothing to you. That's the most frustrating thing, is that Mormons don't believe, and so they don't understand what I'm talking about. They only hear church isn't true, and they don't believe it. It has to be others, not Mormons. Mormons are perfect. We murder people because they're bad. We rape and prostitute women because they're women. Not really bad. They're abused. Leave them alone. They need to be set free. And then Danite women are just evil. Dear God. You get raised up in evil and you become evil. So, alrighty. We'll have to see what happens now. So I'm going to need Jonah's fish and the idol statue god.